So it was a Tic Tac? Okay.
But just in the last few months, I mean, you've got all the Chinese spy balloon, but then all of a sudden you've got these other things they're shooting down over Alaska.
And it got real quiet after that, didn't it?
And then everything got real quiet.
It's like radio silence after that.
The Chinese spy balloon made big news.
Mm-hmm.
Then right on the heels of that, there's one over Montana. They shoot one over Alaska. That they talked about being a cylindrical object with no known means of propulsion, and they shot it down, and then
so
nothing.
When what I read was the reason that they were able to start catching these things on radar or whatever.
They retuned the radar because of the spy balloon that they let go halfway across the country before they, and then let it go the rest of the way.
Oh yeah,
because all our information before they shot it down.
Yeah.
Well, they already had it from TikTok anyway, so.
Yeah. You ready?
I am.
Ready, Jade? You ready?
Yeah.
And we're live with Paranormal Spirits. Place where we come to get our spirits. We're a place where we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do it with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. This is my wife, Alyssa Black.
Howdy.
Oh my God. Shirt. I guess because of your shirt, of course. And my best friend, John Burkett.
Hello.
And we're here tonight to tell you about a terribly, horribly scary, terrifying thing that dates back all the way to as far as men were writing down stories about terribly, horribly scary things. And we're going to talk about shadow people. But before we do that, let's talk about all the places that you can go to see us. Now, if you're listening to us on a podcast, you can go to us and see the video version on YouTube. And we are 3B Paranormal Spirits on YouTube. We have a website that is paranormal-spirits.com. We have a Facebook group. And what's the name of the Facebook group?
Booze with Benefits.
Booze with Benefits. We have Instagram, and that is... I'm waiting. Don't leave me hanging.
Paranormal
underscore
spirits.
I thought that's TikTok.
But I say, isn't that TikTok?
No, that's Instagram.
It's Instagram.
Got Instagram changed. It used to be something weird.
It used to be MW Black 1966.
Yeah, and TikTok is
really
paranormal _ spirits.
I don't know how many other Paranormal Spirits Instagrams are, but it's really easy to spot because you see, not that, but you see that logo on the...
all these logos and stuff. And we're on the Twitter, but on Twitter we're MW Black 1966 because that's the way it is. But if you go to our website at paranormal-spirits.com, you can go and click on our shop that we have there, Boozy's Boutique. And at Boozy's Boutique, we have all this cool swag. Plus, I swear it's probably like 500 other items that we have up there on our shop. And you can pick you up some cool Boozy swag. We have Boozy's Koozies.
Boozy's Koozies.
That's just fun to say. I swear to God, it is.
Boozy's
Koozies. And you can get your Boozies swag, and you can be part of the booze crew then. But speaking of booze, let's talk about the BOOZE.
What we got today?
What we got, John?
We have Yellowstone Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Yellowstone Select.
What is, when somebody says it's straight bourbon whiskey, what does that mean, straight?
That means it is at least 51% corn.
Okay.
And
the rest is barley or wheat or
usually rye and barley. Okay. Unmalted barley. Not like Scotch. It's malted barley, unmalted barley. But and just a lot of different mash bills. They call it the mash bill is the amount of the ratio of
I'm learning
each
so
grain.
much.
I have not tasted this, so I don't know if this is a high rye or a low rye. Your high ryes are like Bullet, Wild Turkey.
with the more
Four Roses.
floral.
There's a little more floral scent, but your Buffalo Trace, your Early Times, your E.H. Taylor, those are going to be a more heavier corn and a lighter rye mash bill. And then there's wheated bourbon,
Right.
like Pappy Van Winkle or Weller, which is actually the same juice, just one's aged a lot longer.
Right. So what I heard was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the rumor that I hear that, like, for, and I'm getting off topic and I apologize, but Buffalo Trace, that it's the same juice. Buffalo Trace.
Well, there's two different.
Weller's
There's at least
and Pappy are all the same juice.
two different mash bills at Buffalo Trace. Right? There's their low rye mash bill. That's what you find in Buffalo Trace, E.H. Taylor, Stag.
Okay.
What's it? Eagle Rare.
Okay.
All the same juice, just aged longer and the more expensive stuff in different areas of the rick house. For a different flavor profile.
Right, and that's what I heard, that basically Pappy goes over to the Weller's house and says, I want these casks.
So that's Buffalo Trace wheated mash bill. So the rye has been replaced with wheat.
Gotcha.
So Weller, Pappy Van Winkle, Old Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle, all that's all the same.
All the Van
it's all the
Winkles.
same juice, right? And then there's the high rye mash bill, which is your what is it? The Blanton, not Blanton.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, whatever. They make so much stuff. It's hard to keep track.
Buffalo Trace.
One of the largest distilleries in the country, and also one of the most haunted distilleries in the country. I
Really?
read recently, yeah.
Interesting.
Probably
That'd
from
be fun.
people, from employees stealing barrels of
Or drinking
And
himself to
getting
death.
deaded
One of the
because of
two.
it.
stealing, yeah. But like high rye, usually is like it comes to mind Four Roses, and Wild Turkey.
Okay, so, but tonight we are drinking,
This is Yellowstone.
and that's just the name of it, Yellowstone?
It's Yellowstone Select.
Okay.
It was an old brand that was revived. I mean, because it says 1872, but it was out of business for a while. And in 2010, it was founded again by Stephen Beam. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he did this because of the popularity of the Yellowstone series and all the spin-offs.
Well, no, that was
and-
before. I mean, this is 2010 that they've been remaking this. Now, originally,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
this
Good point.
this has been around since 1879, and it was named after the park to sell more in the West. They wanted to sell, if I remember where I read about the history of the brand. Yeah, and this is actually a special edition bottling to benefit national parks, but
Yeah, cool. So we're
they're-
doing our community service by
yeah.
drinking Yellowstone tonight.
And I don't know if I've seen it around here. I got this at Costco of all places in
Yeah.
Little Rock,
Yeah.
and it jumped out because I had just recently finished streaming
You jumped out at you, huh?
the
It's a drink name.
short 8-episode season 5 of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's an old brand that's been revived, is what it is.
Okay. And this is the first bourbon that I've drank in a while.
Me too. It's been a while. No, I keep a bottle of 101.
Scotch, tequila, vodka,
Ugh.
but
I don't
not.
do vodka.
Yeah, she doesn't do vodka. But for bourbon, it's the first one in a while.
It smells like caramel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm ready to taste it.
Did we say the price point?
Oh,
It's
no.
about $35.
I know you said Costco, but I couldn't remember if you said how much.
Normal pricing is around $35. I think it was a little over 30. I paid for that at Costco. It was a little
Okay.
bit less expensive,
Okay.
but that's kind of mid-range for bourbon. I mean, we know because Early Times, which is fantastic, is like $20 for
Yeah.
a liter bottle.
Right.
Wild Turkey 101 is about $20, and Buffalo Trace is about $24. So it's
I've
a little
learned-
above it's
or-
mid-range.
I guess I'm learning that the price sometimes is indicative of what you're going to get in the flavor profile, and sometimes it has
It's not.
It has
absolutely
nothing to do with it. I would say
It's-
Wild Turkey 101 is one of the best bourbons you could buy in the world. It's like $21 a bottle.
When y'all brought home that Early Times, I was like, what did y'all bring home? What
But
is
it's good,
this?
It's
isn't it?
fantastic.
Yeah, it is good.
That's $24 for a liter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
not
know.
expensive.
And it's what, 100 proof? And you got a
100
high.
Yeah, it's 100 proof.
It's
This is,
high proof.
I think it's 92.
93.
93?
93.
Okay.
Yeah, bourbon's up. Bourbon doesn't get good until 90.
Okay, let's see what this does.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Sláinte.
cilantro.
Sláinte.
That's not a lot of rye.
That is sharp. Tis sharp.
It is a little sharp, yeah.
Pretty sharp. And that look on your face of consternation. Like you did not like that.
It's got a little bite to it.
It does. It's got a little bite to it.
A
It's
lot
not.
of bite.
It's not as smooth as I wanted it to be. I will say that.
I'm just curious if I can find the mash bill on here because
I'm going. That's got some rye in it for sure.
it definitely has a little higher rye.
But yeah, because that's that tastes like a rye whiskey to me.
But not, I don't know. It's not as, we've had some like advertised rye that is not palatable. Yeah. I cannot, I am not your rye type.
So this is a 13% rye, 75% corn, 13%
Yeah,
rye, 12%
I could tell.
malted barley. Interestingly,
malted.
I can
malted.
taste the rye in it, but it doesn't taste like a rye whiskey.
I gotta be honest. I don't get the malt.
Nah, no. I mean, it's 75% corn.
Yeah, it tastes like corn whiskey, and corn and rye is what it tastes like.
And I can tell that
They use open pollinated white heirloom corn, which makes for a slightly lighter whiskey flavor.
More of a.
Whew.
And this is made by the Limestone Branch Distillery, by the way.
We're all about limes.
In Louisville? I think it's in Louisville. Nope, Lebanon, Kentucky.
Okay, I'm not. You know me, I'm pretty quick to make a judgment on a liquor, especially if I don't particularly like it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Four Roses.
I really wanted to like that. I did. I really wanted to like it.
It's not bad.
It's not
at all.
bad.
This is not,
it's not bad. It's not like garbage, but
it is not as smooth as
Either one of
some
y'all
other
were
ones.
hoping, I think.
yeah.
Not nearly.
No.
But
What'd you think?
it's not bad.
I can tell it's, I mean, I like bourbon, whiskey.
So I would drink it. Yeah, I would drink it.
If you offered it to me, I wouldn't be like, nah, I'm good.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Now, if you offer me a straight up rye, I'm going to be like, nah, I'm good. I'll go sober.
Well, now rye is going to be at least 51% rye.
Yeah.
Right,
So
that's what I'm saying. Like
floral
this,
thing you're getting a little bit of.
is that what you
That
call
floral
that?
herbal. That's what rye
Is that
is.
floral?
Grassy.
I was thinking ethanol, but
No, come on. That's
no, it's not that bad. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. It's not that bad, but
It's not as good as less expensive bottles like Early Times or
Correct.
Wild Turkey 101.
Correct.
Now, Wild Turkey, the 83 proof is trash. Wild Turkey 101, same juice, aged
Trash.
longer at a higher and bottled at a higher proof point. World of difference.
Yeah.
World.
Absolutely.
Of difference.
Okay, so I'm like, and you are,
It's not the best bourbon I've ever tasted.
no.
It's not.
It's not garbage, no. But I'm not in love with it.
Well, it
either.
was the one that was so bad, but I made it my way through the bottle over like 6 months. Evan Williams bottled in Bond, which people seem to like.
Mike
Was it
doesn't
bad?
touch Evan Williams.
Yeah, but that was the 80 proof, so this is the 100 proof bottled in Bond. Tastes like circus peanuts to me.
Circus peanuts.
You know what I'm talking about? The candy.
Absolutely, the marshmallowy
There's-
things, the orange.
I got to be honest. We started this. Really started working on getting the podcast together and the liquor reviews and all that, and the blog posts and everything. January, something like that.
Yeah.
It was still tolerable outside, so yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like January. And out of all the different, because we've tried like multiples per week, because sometimes, we do 4 shows a week or something where we stack them up, and of everything that we've been through, there's only one whiskey, and it's an Irish, that I would absolutely tell people, do not spend your money on this.
Oh, you're talking about Proper 12?
Proper 12.
Conor McGregor's?
The Proper 12. I would steer everyone away from that whiskey. That's the only liquor that we've come across where I go, I absolutely would not want to do that.
Yeah, you made a couple of shorts about that.
It's not that bad. I mean,
it is that bad.
Tried some of the stuff on the bottom shelf?
No, I don't go to the bottom shelf because I only drink what I like. But
I think too, though, you wanted it to be better than what it was, like what you were expecting it to be.
After we get done with the show, we can go taste it again.
No, it's not great.
No, it's not.
It's a shooter, not a sipper. Is what
absolutely,
or a mixer.
I put it right up there with Jose Cuervo.
I did mix it.
I didn't think it was that. It's not that bad. Come on.
It's not good.
I mean, I'm not defending Conor McGregor, but it's not that bad. There's a lot of grain alcohol.
I know he can kick my ass, but his
there's a lot of grain alcohol in it, and you can tell,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
it's not good.
It's not that bad.
All right, so we've talked about this one. And
this is a decent bourbon.
Yeah,
for the price point, it was an awesome bottle. There's like grizzly bear and all this stuff, so
okay, so it's a pretty bottle. But here's what I will say:
there's a grizzly bear.
Here's what I will say: if I were gonna make whiskey sours, or somebody wanted a bourbon and Coke, I would not feel embarrassed to give them a bourbon and Coke out of my liquor cabinet with that in it. No. You could mix this easily.
But you could save $10 and buy a bottle of 101.
You could.
And you've got a sipper and a mixer, a stronger proof point mixer.
Right. So, yeah.
Or you could save.
That's where I'm at with that one.
About the same amount of money and get a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Honestly, I'd go with Early Times.
Or a liter of Early Times.
I totally would go with Early Times.
I like a little more rye, so I think that my favorite, probably just daily driver bourbon, if that was my thing every day, is Wild Turkey 101. You can't beat that for the price point, and the flavor is punching way above its price point.
Okay.
This is punching right at its price point.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
This is punching at $35.
Agreed.
It's no. I've had $70 bottles. I've had $20 bottles.
Oh yeah, we've all had high dollar.
I've had some $70 bottles that taste like $70 bottles, and I've had $20 bottles that taste like $70 bottles. That's a $35 bottle that tastes like $35.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
It's good.
Fair enough.
It's not great.
Okay, y'all ready?
Sorry, Yellowstone. But.
Right. We ran it through the ringer. I feel bad about that.
No,
but
that's not
truth
a bad
is truth.
review. It's
no,
totally drinkable.
Yeah.
Not my fave. At all.
It just didn't quite strike the balance. If you either want that overly corned one, like Early Times or Buffalo Trace, or you want a little more rye in the mash bill, like something from Wild Turkey.
Okay. So y'all ready to talk about the BWS?
After the divisive spirit.
Let's talk a bit about the BWS.
I mean, I'm thinking, it's going to be gone eventually.
Okay. I'm trying to get us away from the liquor.
It's kind of one of those situations like the Terramana tequila.
Yes.
It's good to keep talking about it because it's like, God.
Yeah. I open my eyes. It's in the middle of the night. I feel kind of weird. The air is thick with electricity, like during a thunderstorm. I'm going to get up and get a drink of water and go to the bathroom, and I realize that I'm frozen. I can't move. My eyes work, my ears, my nose. That's it. I cannot move. I try to call out for help, and my voice never goes past my will to scream out. It's like my voice is stuck in my mind and cannot make it out of my body. The panic is setting in. What is this? What's wrong with me? I look around the room. There is no one there to help me. The room's empty. Nothing. Nothing but shadows. one of the shadows looks different. It's thicker, it's darker, it's different than all the shadows around it, and it's shaped like a man, like a very tall man. He's just standing there and watching me watch him. Am I dreaming this? Is this for real? Oh my God, my eyes have got to be playing tricks on me, because that thing just moved. Swear to God, it moved. It's moving toward me in this fast, jerky movements as it moves across the floor. Scream, damn it, move. My mind is screaming inside my head, but nothing comes out. Tears are rolling down my cheeks now. I think I just peed myself. Am I breathing so hard, and my heart is like beating so hard I can hear it in my ears, and I feel it like it's going to beat out of my chest. This thing does not make a sound. I try so hard to move. I try to scream, to fight back, but my body refuses. I'm at the mercy of this thing. Why is it here? What does it want? Why me? It is beside me now, with its head almost to the ceiling. It's leaning down. I can feel its cold breath on my face. My brain is going to explode with fear. My chest feels like it's crushing in on itself. I can't breathe now. I can't scream. Oh, Holy Mother of God, this thing has no face. And finally there's a sound like a gurgle. It starches this strange groan. It rises up into a blood-curdling scream, escaping my own throat. I can move. It's gone. The bed is soaked with sweat and urine. I hold the pillow to my chest and weep. Estimates vary widely, but it's thought to be somewhere between 5 and 40% of the population suffer from sleep paralysis. Shadow people, what we warned you about at the first of the show, being this horrible, terrible, scary boo thing, are associated with sleep paralysis and have haunted men since recorded history. And so let's talk about what a shadow person is.
Just men?
Shadow people. We're going to get to that.
No, you said they've haunted men.
Men and women. I'm sorry. Yes, and women.
I thought you were saying like the shadow people.
How about this?
No.
Are they
so they've been haunting
How about
men
this?
instead
How
of
about
man.
they have haunted mankind?
You could just say man.
Mankind.
And that would have been encompassing, but you said men.
I know.
So
We
therefore,
my
should have
God.
asked the entity its preferred pronouns.
I said,
Oh my God, I'm gonna
excuse
get
me, I'm not
canceled.
trying to get.
I'm going to get canceled now. Okay, characteristics of the shadow person is that it is generally male. They tend to be aware of us and react to us seeing them. In other words, if we see them, then they go away. They move. They
Not always.
Yeah, well, not always, no, but they do react to us. Physical height, it seems to be a split camp on this. And there's a couple of things in here where it's literally a split camp. I mean, half the people say this, half say something else, but the physical height seems to be two kinds. There's a 6 to 7 foot tall shadow person, and then there's the 3 to 4 foot shadow person. Now, some people.
Wow, I've never heard of the wee one.
Though actually, it's a good that you use that word "we" because the wee people, or in Ireland.
So we're going back to the Fae.
Yes, Aaron Gabra. So the wee people were often thought to be elementals, and so you've got the 6 foot, 7 foot, you got the 3 to 4 foot. They sometimes are seen wrapped in a cloak. Hats are not uncommon.
Hat man.
Right, which is a variation of a shadow person. The thing that's different about this shadow, it seems to hold its depth. It holds a shape. It's not just a shadow, like a flat one-dimensional thing. It's a 3-dimensional shadow. Again, here's a situation where you have two different camps, but some say there are no eyes or no facial features, and others say there are no facial features, but they have red eyes. So
mine had no facial features.
No facial features for John.
No.
They don't speak. There's no communication that takes place. Again, no facial features. They are not physically restrained, or well, that's not the. There are no physical restrictions on them. They can pass through solid objects, like walk through walls, through doors. So that's what makes up a shadow person, or the characteristics of them. The types of shadow people, there tends to be 4 different kinds. You have the lurker, and the lurkers are the ones that are interested in us. And they're the ones that peek around the corner at you, or just stand at the end of the hall and stare at you.
Or down the street, I've heard it. So you'll see one down on the road, like
they'll be
watching you.
Yeah, so these are just the ones that are watching you. So the lurkers are watchers. You have the visitors, which tend to be less interested in us. These are ones that people find going about their own business, doing their own thing. They're in a haunted location investigating, or they're investigating this place, and they'll see one walking, across a hallway or something, and they're not watching us. They're just, doing their own thing. You have the omen, and this is the harbinger of ill fate.
Yeah.
It's the one that shows up.
Like Mothman.
Yeah. So this is the one that shows up when bad stuff's going to happen, right? Then you have the haunting, and this is the more malevolent,
interactive.
Interactive.
Mine was very interactive.
Less likely to flee, more likely to attack. This is the ones that hold you in the bed.
Yep.
Get up on your chest. Try to suffocate you. These are the ones that actually have physical contact
like
with
a succubus, but without the fun.
Yes.
And there we have it.
Or incubus.
Or incubus.
Whatever your trip is. Whatever your kink is. So let's talk about the origins. Where did this start? Where did this come from? And I alluded to the fact that these have been around since we recorded history. So these start, if you are into Shakespeare and you've listened to Romeo and Juliet, you heard where Shakespeare was talking, in the play Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo refers to the shades, and the shades actually go all the way back to the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans that talked about the shades, and the shades were shadow people. The Egyptians believed in shadow people, and they thought that it was one part of the human soul. The ancient Egyptians believed that the human soul could be split into 5 parts. One of those parts was the shadow that could leave upon death, and this shadow could get lost on the way to the next life and then wander the earth. And that's what people would see when they would see a shadow person. They had seen someone's spirit, or 1/5 of the spirit.
Or would that be more of like a black mass? Haunted house type art. I don't know. Go ahead, because I think there's multiple things going on,
and there very well could be, but
I don't think this is one.
No. So
Phenomena or type of entity.
The Native Americans, indigenous people here in the United States, the Choctaw in particular, they had the Nalusa Chito, which every man, according to the Choctaw, had a shambish, and the shambish was the outside shadow, and the sholop, which was the inside shadow, or your ghost, if you will. And so this is what they believed. The sholop was the inside ghost that was the shadow person. If you saw a shadow person and you were of Choctaw, then you believed that was a person's spirit that you saw. The African Nigerians, the Yoruba people, They believed that there was the Emi, which was the breath, and the Ojiji, which was the shadow, that follows the owner and waits for the owner in heaven once he passes. There was also the Elida, and that's the one that when you see the shadow person walking around, they believe that the Elida was one that had to be fed by sacrifice to appease them. So if you had a shadow person that was haunting you, you had to make a sacrifice on their behalf.
Not a human, so we're not talking about.
I didn't. All I read was sacrifice. I didn't go any deeper than that.
Burning some tobacco or something.
Well, in medieval Europe, they called it shadows.
Did you just say medieval? Medieval?
What did I say? Oh,
you said medieval.
All right, no. Yellowstone Select said that.
Yeah,
they called them shadows. In Arabic culture, they believed in the jinn, and it speaks of in the Quran of the jinn being born of a smokeless and scorching fire. They considered them to be a supernatural life form and existed in a parallel universe alongside with or above ours, and can cross over and interact with humans. Mm-hmm. And just like humans and angels, they believe that some are good, some are bad, etc.
Some can grant you wishes.
Oh, yeah, they can. Yeah, if you rub on their little
lamp,
their little lamp, and your name just happens to be Aladdin. But in modern culture, the first mentioning of this was by Thunderstrike, who was a medicine man, a.k.a. Harley Swift Deer Reagan, and he appeared on the Coast to Coast
Art Bell show.
Yep. On April 12th, 2001.
OG of talking about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Coast to Coast AM late night radio talk show helped popularize modern beliefs in shadow people. And the first time the topic of shadow people was discussed at length was on April 12, 2001, when host Art Bell interviewed a man purporting to be a Native American elder, Thunderstrikes, who was also known as Harley Swift Deer Reagan. And during the show, listeners were encouraged to submit drawings of shadow people that they had seen. In large number of these drawings were immediately shared publicly on their website. So all these drawings came in, and everybody's seeing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so no one really has the numbers of how many people are affected by shadow people, or or sleep paralysis for that matter. And they think that most people at some point in their life have sleep paralysis.
It's happened to me a couple times.
I've experienced not total paralysis, I guess, but it's like I wake up and I've never had the shadow person, but I've had I wake up and I go, oh my God, I can't move my arms, I can't move my legs. And it takes me a second to be able to lift my arms up. So I don't know if that's what that is or not.
That's sleep paralysis without
any
the
kind
demon,
of
without the jinn,
without whatever it is. In October that year that Art Bell had his show, Heidi Hollis published I'm getting tongue-tied. Published her first book on the topic of shadow people, and later became a regular guest on Coast to Coast. Hollis describes shadow people as dark silhouettes with human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision, and claims that people have reported the figures attempting to jump on their chest and choke them. She believes the figures to be negative aliens that can be repelled by various means, including invoking the name of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
No,
I mean, I grant her belief.
She's got just as much right to believe what she wants to believe.
She lost me at alien. I mean, of course, mine's just as crazy though. So what I think,
and I mean, we have experienced stuff beyond explanation, And for me to sit here and go, I've seen a ghost. I've caught a ghost on camera. I've caught EVPs. For me to sit there and go, okay, but you talked to the invisible guy in the sky. I can't knock that because
no, why would an alien care about invoking the name of Jesus Christ?
Why would a ghost come knock stuff over in my house? But
I wouldn't. I mean, if I was a ghost, I would.
See what I'm saying, though?
This is very interesting because when Bonnie was talking about the things in her room, it was very. It reminded me of my experience, and also many other people's type shadow people experience. But to her, they were staticky, the alien things.
Some of the things that she described, and we're talking about a previous episode, but some of the things she described in her experience, her death experience, what she calls it, are very much what I believe as far as from a shamanic perspective. They're very similar. I mean, not exactly the same, but they're
things
close.
that she would see in her room at night sometimes, and she would be paralyzed by fear. And I was like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You talking about the thing came in there and shaking its finger at her?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, if we want to go from a scientific perspective and see what their thoughts are, according to Wikipedia, sleep paralysis is a state during waking or falling asleep in which one is conscious but is unable to move or speak. During an episode, one may hallucinate, hear, feel, or see things that are not there, which often results in fear. Episodes generally last no more than a couple of minutes, and it can recur or occur as a single episode. So they're saying that can be triggered by certain things, and some of those things are narcolepsy, for one, may cause you to be more prone to sleep paralysis. Sleep deprivation, psychological stress, abnormal sleep cycles. The underlying mechanism is believed to be a dysfunction in the REM sleep pattern. Lucid dreaming doesn't seem to affect the chances of sleep paralysis, but some lucid dreamers use this as a method of having lucid dreams.
No way I would risk that. Nope.
Diagnosis is based on a person's description. Other conditions that can present similarly include similarly.
Wow.
Similarly. God, I can't talk tonight. Tonight's probably got nothing to do with it. There's a lot of days I can't talk. Include narcolepsy, atonic seizure, and hypokalemic periodic paralysis.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, I could say
hypokalemic
periodic paralysis. I just can't say similarly.
Similarly. Wow. Similarly.
Jeez. There are also several psychological conditions that can account for reported experiences of shadow shapes seeming alive. Schizophrenia being one of them.
That's a different... I mean, I don't know. I've never been schizophrenic, but I can tell you that...
There's still time.
It's
There's years left for that.
So interestingly enough, there is an experiment that they did where they stimulated the frontoparietal area, parietal area on the left side. They stimulated this one particular area, and guess what they caused when they stimulated that? They caused shadow people. And
it's not. I don't like that.
So literally they put an electrical charge to the brain in between the frontal and the parietal lobes, and it caused people to see shadow people. And it caused them to have the feeling that somebody was standing right behind them or in front of them in a shadow form.
Maybe it causes the people to see things that are always there, but opens up that neural pathway where you can see that.
Maybe that's it. It's just like like we've talked about the use
Lovecraft shit here.
The use of hallucinogens that are that facilitate you being able to see outside of your normal outside of your normal self.
DMT.
DMT is that one.
Excuse me.
So another thing that tends to produce shadow people, and we didn't call it that back in the day. We called it when someone met the meth monster. And I know you laugh because we all know these people.
This is the third or fourth day awake.
Because we worked in healthcare and we've worked in psych.
The meth monster.
So we know what the meth monster is. It's when you've been up for several days, and now there's people. The black ninjas are walking around their house and
the corners.
Yeah. So this is what it says. Many methamphetamine addicts report the appearance of shadow people after prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. Psychiatrist Jack Pott suggested that methamphetamine usage as a conspiratorial component to the sleep deprivation and hallucinations.
I think anyone who's awake for that many days, meth or no meth,
has hallucinations.
You're going to see shadow people creeping around the corners.
There was a time when I was in the service that there was a particular test that was being done, and I was up for 6 days straight.
And they're creeping around the corners, right?
Well, I wasn't the only one.
And they're gone.
There was a...
You weren't the only one there?
No, I was
in your mind, you mean?
No.
The ninjas are...
I'm talking about it was a whole... it was a whole company.
Okay, right. Time. Okay. Soldiers.
We were told that we had to be awake. So we got to sleep, but it was only 15 minutes at a time, and it was only 4 times a day. So a max of 1 hour sleep per day for 6 days straight. And my insides, by the end of it, literally were quivering.
Oh, yeah. You got just the poops.
Oh, it was crazy.
But there's nothing there, and then...
Oh, it was just crazy. My insides were quivering. It felt like I was a vibrator inside me. It was strange.
How would you know
what
a vibrator
what were you doing?
Not like in a good way.
How would you know?
Has that happened before?
Like?
Yeah, it has. But I mean, not like in a good, pleasurable way. It was a strange way, like inside my gut, But anyway, so he said that one person pointed out something interesting in this, and I can attest to this. One interviewed subject said, you don't see shadow dogs, you don't see shadow birds, you don't see shadow cars, you see shadow people. So, and that makes me think that it's not just something that's produced by the sleep deprivation.
It's not like a brain anomaly.
Right. Because why wouldn't it be a shadow dog or a shadow car or a shadow bird? It's something that's always there.
That's what I believe.
It's something that's always there, but at some point, because of your lack of sleep, because your sleep deprivation, you can finally see it.
Right. So this is what I think.
Give me 1 second. I just want a couple more things.
Because this has happened to me. I've had this experience.
So
experience.
So this is what Stephen Hawking says.
Similar experience.
Some people think that this is another dimension that's very near ours.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
And that the veil is very thin.
That's exactly what I believe.
And Stephen Hawking believes that there could be 26 shadow galaxies, shadow stars, and shadow people. Other people believe that it could be astral projection, where what you're seeing during an astral projection is that person's spirit that leaves their body, which this is exactly what the Egyptians said that they saw earlier when the Egyptians were talking about the different parts of the soul or spirit.
Why would someone astrally project themselves just to hold me down in the bed and terrify the shit out of me?
Because they're evil bastards, and that's what they do.
I think that
out of meanness,
these things that live in this other dimension, sometimes when the veil is thin, they become aware of us. And when they become aware of us, just like regular people, there's good ones and bad ones.
Right.
And that's why some people, it's a lurker. Oh, I've become aware of this. Look at this. What am I looking at here, right? But all we can see of it is the shadow part, right?
Right.
And then there's malevolent ones, like There was no good intention in the thing trying to hold me down in the bed.
So my thought is, and it's very similar to this, is that so where we talk about shadow people, and this is often induced by sleep deprivation. In the case of a methamphetamine addict, where they're doing lots of meth and they've been up for 6 days straight and they meet the meth monster.
Yeah, but those monsters are corner ninjas. You know,
but are they really?
They're gone.
But are they really? And
Maybe
that's
not.
my point.
Maybe not. Yeah,
because
you're right. Yeah.
if you go without sleep long enough, you will die. You cannot function without sleep.
I mean, I can tell you.
Okay, so, and here's my point, is that I believe that on each end of our life, you have a veil that we cross through. And as we cross into this veil when we're children, that's why I think that children, babies and kids, are you sleepy?
I'm very sleepy.
Wake up, baby! So have a drink of Monster. That'll wake you up. So as they cross over into this veil, they have just crossed over into the veil into this physical existence. So that's why I think that children are more prone to see spirits and angels and ghosts or whatever, right? And I think for the same reason that when an elderly person is laying on their deathbed about to cross over, I think that's when that veil becomes thin because they're about to cross over again. And that's why they see their loved ones who've gone on before them, you know, and they're there to help them across. I truly believe that that's when that veil becomes the thinnest.
So do you think the veil becomes thinner when you don't have sleep?
I do, because you're on your way to dying. You literally, if you go without sleep long enough, you're dying. That's why I think that...
What about methamphetamines?
I think that your methamphetamines keep you up long enough. So, and like hallucinogens, you know, what we call hallucinogens, maybe they're not hallucinogens. Maybe they are drugs that remove the fuzziness from that veil.
I think it opens
and clears it so that we can see through that veil.
Like maybe DMT, mushrooms, LSD, but especially DMT is like the conduit for opening up the consciousness to other dimensions that are always there.
That's what I'm saying. It's maybe they're always there anyway, and some of these things just allow us to...
We're not advocating the use of any sort of...
No, we're not promoting the use of drugs. I'm just saying that...
hallucinogenic drugs that the government, for some reason, decided that you shouldn't have because they don't want you to expand your mind in any way, shape, or form. They want you to be good little slaves.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that... that I think that that's one of the things that can happen. I think that the fact that when you've just crossed over that veil coming into this physical existence, or when you're about to leave through that veil into the spiritual existence, I think when that veil is the thinnest at the beginning and end of our life. Also, when you use drugs that will open your mind up and allow you to see DMT, LSD, mescaline, peyote, shrooms, etc., and you've got all these different drugs that open your mind up to where you can see these things, I think that's when you can see them.
And there are also certain places where the veil is thinner.
Oh, absolutely.
And like the Celtic pagans, you know, the Irish pagans, I believe there are certain times of the year when the veil is thinner. Like Samhain. But it's a very interesting concept, you know, and
historically, the Samhain is the time of year that it's the most likely to be, or that the veil is the thinnest. Yes.
At Halloween, interestingly enough. But so this has happened to me.
So tell us.
I've had the sleep paralysis with a shadow person, not a friendly one, a couple of times in my 20s. So it's been a long time. I do not want them to come back. I never want to have this experience again. It's absolutely terrifying. I remember it as, and there was no drugs involved, nothing like that.
I was gonna say,
no.
You said you were in your 20s.
No, actually.
What did you do in your 20s?
No. I was very well asleep and remember that I felt that, you know how you can sense a presence when you're asleep?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us, not everybody, but some of it, you know.
Oh yeah, it's so weird. There could be all kinds of
something
noises
changing in a person coming in the room, right?
Yes, there can be all kinds of noises in the house that I won't wake up if they're normal.
Train coming through the side of the house.
But let something weird happen in the house, immediately I'm awake. It's so crazy.
And I remember being aware of that and kind of waking up, right? And I wake up and there is a cloaked black shadow figure standing over me. And as soon as I become aware of it, it's holding me down, which is the paralysis part, right?
And
it is holding me down on the bed forcefully.
That's one of the things that I was reading that they have, that it's not uncommon for them to be. It seems like they're wearing a cloak,
but it could also just be the shape.
The shape,
you know, because there's no facial features, no nothing, but it is holding me in the bed.
Did it have a hat?
No hat, man. No,
okay.
No, definitely. If it was wearing headgear, it was a hoodie or a Jedi robe or a Sith robe because it's black. But and it's
because Sith happens.
Hey, it's Jedi in the streets, Sith in the sheets, right? And it's holding me down. And I remember thinking, this is a dream. This is a dream. You need to wake up. This is a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to force myself. And okay, wake up. And it's still there. 3 or 4 times through this cycle before finally really actually waking up and there's nothing there.
See, that is so
it is absolutely terrifying.
So
because you're helpless and you're thinking, you know, something comes in my room, I'm going to whoop its ass, I'm going to kill it, but you can't because it's you can't move. So
do you think this was a physiological thing that was going on to where you were just in sleep paralysis?
I mean, it's both. Why do you sleep? Why is the element of this person added to the sleep paralysis? I get that the signal gets blocked from the brain to the body to wake fully up, right? I get that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's so we don't. That's so we don't act out during our dreams and hurt ourselves, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, people do wake during dreams and punch their partner, or
it can
but
happen.
You're saying
there's
most of the time.
You can say that there's sleep paralysis without shadow.
People have sleep paralysis without the shadow person standing over you.
Right here, you know, right? I've done it.
And I think, like we were talking about, that these things exist in a parallel dimension to our own. These are trans-dimensional beings that are aware of us sometimes, just like we become aware of them. Some are good,
just like
some are bad, some are indifferent. Some
just like we're walking through.
I encountered a
1900s hotel, early 1900s, and we see the thing walking down the hallway.
Right, except this is interactive. At least mine was.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say 4 cycles, like 4 cycles of you trying to wake yourself up and it's still there?
And then it's still there, and I think I'm awake, and it's still there. I think I'm awake, and it's still there.
How long do you think that lasted?
Probably seconds. Probably not that long.
I know that, you know, dreams seem like they last a long time, and they don't. But
I would imagine in real time that was maybe a minute, you know.
And that happened to you another time, you said?
It's happened a couple of times, but it's been a long time.
Was it pretty... Did they happen pretty close?
Pretty close together. Yeah. And it was also around the same time as another experience that involved a black mass that was shaped in a cloak type thing. But that was different, though.
Were you dealing with any trauma at the time?
No.
Just living your life at 20-something?
20-something, yeah.
I was just curious. You know how sometimes they say that certain types of traumas in your life can cause you to dream and do things weird in your sleep. So that's why I was asking.
And
I don't recall there being any kind of drug use or anything. You know, I mean, nothing more severe than some tall boys that slit malt liquor from the bootlegger.
So
I was probably under 21.
You know, I can remember being in college and we were talking about dreaming and, you know, and the way the body reacts and all that. And I remember reading about lucid dreaming, and I tried that, you know, and I had to work at it, you know, for...
It's interesting.
I don't know.
But I'm kind of scared of it because I don't want...
Lucid dreaming?
I don't want to encounter
He doesn't want this shadow again.
Lucid dreaming was the coolest thing in the world to me. And the reason... I've only done it twice, but I had to really... What I did as I was going to sleep, I would sit there and go, okay, when I when I start to dream, I'm going to realize I'm dreaming. And I made that a conscious thought. I just like a mantra as I went to sleep. And it happened twice, so in 2 different occasions. And both of them, I wouldn't say were nightmares, but they were dark in the lucid dreams. One of them involved aliens and Nazis.
Or were they alien Nazis or Nazi aliens?
Well, there were flying saucers flying over, and I'm in a war-torn Europe at night, and I'm seeing these glowing flying saucers flying over, and I go into this room.
The Blitzkrieg?
That's kind of cool.
It was like being in a video game.
Not cool.
But
aliens and stuff. That's cool.
I was running from, and they were chasing me, these Nazis, right? So I run up in this room, and I'm there by myself. I'm the only one in the room, and the Nazis, I can hear them charging up the steps or the stairs because I'm up on the second floor. They're coming up the steps, and they come through the door, and at the moment they came through the door, I froze the dream. It's like, okay, like I could control time in that dream. And I walked over and I knocked all their weapons out of their hands, and I picked a couple of them up, and then I started the dream up. And when I started dreaming up, I'm over there like like Scarface, just shooting them up.
Say hello to my little friend.
Right. But there was that time and another time where this creature was literally absorbing my son.
Oh, like it was just blob,
No, it was almost like a camel, but Michael stuck his hand up against it after I told him not to.
On the toe?
Which Michael would do. And no, not on the toe. Pervert. So it started sucking him in, on his arm, and in his side.
Oh, your son.
Yeah.
I was thinking, literally, when you said son, I thought S-U-N.
No. So my son and I are riding down the road on these bicycles, and this thing comes up beside us, and it looks like a camel, and I flip. It's this burlap thing over its side, and I pull it up. It's like all these amalgamation of body parts and stuff. And Michael goes, "Ooh, look at that!" He's just a kid, and he sticks his hand to it. I'm like, "Don't touch it!" Just sucked him right in, and
wow!
I woke up, and I go, "Oh my god!"
You think that was like a warning, like not to smoke Camel cigarettes?
No, so anyway, I went right back to sleep.
Camel, like speaking to you through.
I went right back to sleep and back into the dream, and this time had the same dream again and stopped him before he could stick his hand up there and get sucked into the camel-looking thing. It was just really strange, but
that is kind of cool to be able to control that.
I've only done it twice.
When I was young, I remember as a kid having a reoccurring dream where Buddy Ebsen chasing me across a rope bridge with a fucking axe. And it's not it's not.
So Jed Clampett.
As Jed Clampett. Not Buddy Ebsen from Breakfast at Tiffany's, but or the doctor, or Barnaby MD,
or the Wizard of Oz.
Or the Wizard of Oz, but Jed Clampett.
Oh my God.
With an axe.
He's chasing you across a bridge.
And it makes no physical sense, but he's chopping the wood. So you know how dreams physics don't apply. So he's chopping it's one of those rope and board bridges, and he's chopping the boards out ahead of him. So I don't know how he's moving, but he's trying to make so I can't escape. It makes no physics sense. But
wow.
And I'll never forget that. When I was a kid, I was
crazy.
I wasn't scared of Jed Clampett, but for some reason Jed Clampett, but it's Buddy Ebsen, but it's not Jed Clampett in dreams. Buddy Ebsen, who's probably one of the nicest men in Hollywood at the time in the '60s.
So what do you think? So what do you think shadow people are, Alyssa?
I have no idea.
Do you think they're real? Do
yes.
You think they're?
I have never experienced them, but I know.
I hope you never do.
I don't want to.
It is not.
I don't. As is evidenced by my other stories, I don't want to see all those things. I like pretty nice things, like bunny rabbits,
like clawfoot tubs.
No, I don't like clawfoot tubs. I don't like anything like that.
So I've seen
puppy dogs.
I've seen spirits. I've got pictures of spirits. I've got AVPs. I've never seen a shadow person.
Well, please don't bring it upon us.
You don't want to.
I don't want to.
Now, see, you were talking earlier. You were describing the spirit type shadow person or a black mass,
and
that's completely different thing from what I think these transdimensional beings are. You're talking about normally.
So do you think they're jinn?
I
do you
think
they're demonic?
I think that the jinn description is the best description, other than the transdimensional beings who become aware of us.
Well, that sounds
always there. The membrane is thinner. Some are good, some are bad, some are indifferent, some are just observers.
You know, we've watched some of these shows about these mediums, you know, and there's one in particular that I can remember when she goes into a place of like
Cindy?
No. When we go into a place of like malevolence, it's like
I have a crush on
that was my eye roll.
She always sees shadow people, or she sees them a lot, and it's usually when there's evil, malevolence.
But
and she sees small ones.
Ooh,
the wee ones.
The wee ones I've never. Mine was, you could feel was at least 6 feet, you know, but it was bent over the bed. It wasn't sitting on my chest.
How tall was it?
Leaned over. I was, 6 foot-ish, like a normal human size.
Yeah.
But it looked like something you'd see on the cover of a death metal album, you know, like a black hood. But it could have just been the shape. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very disconcerting experience. Not something I ever wish to revisit. The only thing that even come close that I've had recently, and it happens every now and then, is I'll be sleeping.
And you wet the bed.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, that's just wrong.
There's a lot of pause.
A long time since
Hey, they said that happens.
It happened to me in Cabo.
That did
No,
not.
but it says that it happens
Yeah,
with the shadow people.
But I think there was some alcohol
tequila.
involved. Yeah, it was
Involved in
tequila.
that.
Actually,
But,
that was not. That was everything.
I hope you left a really good tip for your housekeeper.
We did.
But no, I'll be asleep, and I don't recall any other dream happening at the point. But I will hear a voice like as if someone's mouth is right next to my ear. John, and it.
You're immediately awake.
Immediately, like, what the? You're scared to look over that direction. There's nothing there.
But you don't have the paralysis?
No, it's just all of a sudden out of nowhere, John, right in your ear.
Is it loud? Is it a man's voice?
It is loud.
Is it a woman's voice?
Usually a woman.
Are you
But they
sure
don't
that
know
house
what it is.
isn't haunted? Is it in your house
So how long
that it
is
happens?
This,
Yeah.
When did this start, and how long has it been going on?
I feel like you're diagnosing him.
a few times a year over the last few years.
2 times of the year.
A few times a year over the last maybe 5 years.
You say you don't have experiences in that home and other people do, but I almost
That's
wonder.
the only that and the Whistler are the only things I've ever experienced in that house. The Whistler was I went to go into the garage, and
the Whistler?
Whistler.
Whistler.
The Whistler, not the Whistler.
dude-
That was you in Cabo. Was the Whistler? No, the Whistler.
Off the side of our
the
penthouse.
Whizzer.
No, I went to the garage to go put some cans in the bag that we keep for the housekeeper, or maybe it was to go get a 12-pack of Diet Cokes out of the garage. Anyway, it involved Diet Coke. But
Oh yeah, because that's
and
the
it was
important
late at night, and probably 1, 2 in the morning, right? And so it would have been a weekend, and
Lies.
no. I'm in bed by 1 at the latest on work days. But I go out there, and as soon as I step into the garage, I hear something whistling on the other side of the garage door. A tune, like, I can't whistle, by the way.
I can't either.
Like it's right there. Like there's a person on the other side of the garage door whistling.
Okay, is this inside? The whistling is coming from inside your garage?
Outside.
To
he
me,
said.
Outside
it
the
appears
garage.
like so. The garage
Like
door,
you're in the garage getting
the garage
some Diet
door.
Coke.
The overhead door is no farther than this wall for me when I open that coming in from the house into the garage, and I hear it, and it sounds like someone on the other side of the overhead door.
Do you think it could have been someone?
Well, no, because I immediately backstepped right back into the house, and I went outside through the back door
and went around
the garage
to catch him off guard.
pretty quickly, right?
Were you packing your?
I went back to the house, and got back to our room, grabbed a pistol real quick.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
they had
ran back
time to
there.
run
No,
off.
not really. No, because I live on top of a hill, and you can see it pretty good. I mean, I booked to go back and run back around to that side and go out the side gate and very quietly open that metal gate and creep around it.
And Shaw saw a shadow person.
Saw nothing. There was, I can see all the way down the hill, down every way. There is nobody running down. They'd had to run down the street.
Right.
And there's nothing out there. And I have no explanation for it. So either someone was just sitting right outside of my garage door, like literally would have been feet away from me whistling. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't a bird song. It was it was
human.
It was human.
Yeah.
Whistling. That's the only paranormal experience other than the jaw in my ear that I've had in that house. Now my daughter, different story.
So you think that back to the
and this
shadow
is
people
when
thing.
my mother was still alive, so it wouldn't be it wasn't her. I don't know what it was, but my daughter claims to see my grandmother sitting on my mother's bed in my house after she had passed away.
So you think that shadow people are those beings that are in another dimension, but just the other side of the veil, or even able to move across that veil?
Right. That's what I think. Just like H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond short story, if you've ever seen the film, and they turn on that stimulator, that pineal gland stimulator, and all of a sudden you can see the things that are always there. That's why when you were talking about them stimulating this brain region and them seeing it's like, that's a terrible idea. You should never do something like that.
So what do you think? What do you think? Is it
you
something
don't want
that
them to be aware of you?
I think they're real, and all the stories that I've ever heard of them, they're not nice.
So you
They're
think
not
they're real?
just
So you think they're legit?
Yes, and I don't think that they're here just to see what's going on. Like I think they know what's going on.
So do you think they're demonic? Do you think they're jinn? Do you think they're...
I don't know. I don't have any experience
I'm just asking
whatsoever.
your thoughts. What do you think?
I don't know. I've had no experience, but I will say I have never heard anybody talk kindly about a shadow person, or not.
It made me breakfast.
or not been scared. That some people see entities,
Earl,
and they're
my shadow buddy, came by to visit me.
yeah. I mean, no,
Rob
and
Sixpack.
they're not like hanging out on the rocking chair, rocking, just chilling. Like every shadow person I've ever heard about is not nice. People have been scared of them. Your situation, like if they physically touched them, they were not nice. They were aggressive. The mediums that I've seen talk about them, they're scared of him. They always leave the area. They don't want to be around them.
I think
they don't want to take them home.
I think that John, I'm absolutely 100%, I believe, in agreement with you that they are interdimensional beings.
Transdimensional,
Transdimensional,
whatever.
whatever.
Like that are all
they're just always there.
There could be one right here,
Yeah,
right now.
You just don't see them.
But we can't see or experience it. And
Right.
But you do not want them to be aware of you observing them.
Right. And
You
I
don't
think
want to
that's
become
what it
aware
is.
of each other. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's just we've got that thin veil in between us,
You think they can see us?
Oh, absolutely. I think they can.
I don't know. No,
You
I
think
don't
that-
think always,
you
because
think that
it's when
veil-
they become aware of us, then that's when we become aware of them, and then
That's when they
it
interact.
never ends.
So, and I
well.
think that goes back to the different types. You remember there's the, when it talked about the different ones, and you get the lurkers and
Right.
the ones that are just, now I think that's the ones that become aware of us.
And these could be different dimensions, that lurkers and the holder downers, or whatever you want to call it,
downers.
are different things and different, because all these things exist at the same time with this very thin membrane between them.
Right.
Now we're getting into some deep physics shit.
Yeah, but I mean,
Quantum stuff.
but that's what we talk about, is that stuff kind of.
But it was just like that Stephen King film, The Mist. There are things that exist in a different dimension, or that you do not want.
When we
across.
started this podcast, when we started the website, it was on the belief that there are things in heaven, or there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophies of ratio. And I mean, that pretty much sums up everything that we talk about and do, is because there are things out there that go bump in the night. And
I would like to point out, if you are interested in this shadow people sleep paralysis phenomenon, There is a documentary called The Nightmare from 2015. It is one of the most terrifying films I've ever seen. And it's a documentary about sleep paralysis.
Is it terrifying because you've experienced it?
Like the first time I watched it, I was just creeped out. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Because you had experienced it.
Yeah. It's just like, but this is after when I discovered that this was a thing. I wasn't crazy when I found this on blogs. There were people talking about it way back in the early 2000s. Like, what the hell? I'm not nuts. But
well, that
there are other people that
does
see
not
this
exclude
too?
you from being nuts.
Well, no, that's true. I agree. But The Nightmare, I do recommend it. I recently watched it again to see if it scared the shit out of me just like it did the first time.
And it did?
It didn't. It was.
No.
I was better
Okay.
with it after the first time. I didn't know what to expect because the visuals, they do recreations.
Oh,
and it's terrifying.
There is
the one with the girl laying in the bed and the red shadow thing.
See, I don't want any of that. I want
Spooning
no
her.
part
So what
of
is
that.
so I'm on a sidetrack for a second, but what is there's a series and it's the guy who played was it Luke Cage? And it's a series called Evil.
Oh yeah. He's a priest.
Yes,
that's great. I love that show.
The chick
Season
on
2's
there,
out there. You can watch
the
now.
chick
It's
on
great.
there is like she's got this demon that's coming to visit her.
Yeah,
and it's like a shadow.
he's in the corner.
Yes.
And he's a little closer.
Oh my god,
yeah,
that is the freakiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And if that was a shadow person coming to me,
it's like that.
I would pee my bed.
It's like that. Except mine didn't start talking or anything because that makes it even.
Because that one did.
That's really.
It was
terrifying
creepy.
when that thing talks to her.
So I wanted to point out that we were running a special little event thing on Facebook, Booze with Benefits. And I had put something out there that said, hey, if you comment on this post, then we're going to call you out during the podcast.
I almost forgot.
And about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I remembered. So,
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to call out everybody that because I said you got to do it during or before the podcast is over. And it's actually later, so we can some extra time. But we've got some folks to call out on here. We've got Amanda Carter.
Yay, thanks for listening.
Dude, thanks for listening. We got Amanda Carter. And Amanda Carter said, love you guys.
Yay.
Yeah, I probably didn't say it like she says it, but I said it anyway.
A little bassier, probably.
Love you guys. So then we got Mara Burkett. That last name is familiar.
Sounds familiar.
That is my daughter. That's my pride
Shout
and joy.
out.
So Mara said, shout out. And Dustin Mean said,
That is her boyfriend.
he said, ouch out. So we're calling him out on the podcast. So also, what I put up was that, let's see, got two more people evidently I need to call out that I met. Oh, there's a bunch of people. Let's see, 8 people responded. Wow, I need to look at this then. Wow. So we got Polly Nolan, Mimsy Borgoves, Dana Kawacha. I'm probably messing that name up, and if I am, I so apologize. Crystal Hawkins, Kim Brewerhar, and that all responded to that. Mara, and who's the other one on here? Oh, that was you, John. John signed up.
John, you don't need a shout out.
Wait. No, I didn't. I set myself the
I think
admin
you just
console.
liked it.
Oh, I did like it. Yeah.
Okay,
I liked
so
it.
what happens is everybody that says, hey, we're here, hey, we're interested, or whatever, all of your names go in this hat at the end of the day.
Was it probably the big
We'll pick one.
The boozy hat.
Yeah.
Maybe the boozy mug.
And when we figure out, we're going to choose one person out
Boozy
of that hat.
koozie.
And of course, it's going to be folded up in names, and we draw it out. And
Old school style.
yeah, old school. style. We're going to figure out who gets to pick, and whoever wins gets to pick whatever they want from Boosie's Boutique. Doesn't matter.
Yay!
Yay! So they can get the water bottle, or they can get one of the cool
hats.
The girl hats.
The dad hats? Is what
I
they
mean,
call
it's
them.
not. I mean,
They call it a dad hat. And then
But
you
it's
got
pink, so it's girly.
the trucker cap. There's mugs. There's
A beanie.
beanies. There's all kinds of stuff on there.
Boozies.
Boozy koozies and
but these are really nice. These are Richardson's, right? That's what they're called. The brand of this
sure
trucker hat.
I don't
is
know.
Stay.
Yeah, I think these are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that we have now, I don't know if they're the same brand, but because we changed
That's true.
Distributor, but
And the T-shirts are very, very soft.
oh yeah, the T-shirts
Very
are
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
They're very nice. Anyway, that's all we have for you.
We'll let you know who wins when we do the drawing.
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
Thank you. Watch out for the shadow people.
Watch out for shadow people.
Do not
Night
let
night.
them become aware of you.
Night.
Bye bye. Oh, did it?
I had the itches, like during the first one.
It starts to itch, and it's almost my right ear, and it right inside.
Well,
I'm like,
I took that first drink of that bourbon,
you took a big
and my ears got hot, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is strong.
You took a big.
It's
pull
not
off of
that. It's just not as strong as the Bruichladdich